Let's get some further analysis on the story and bring in Dr. Omar Abdel-Mannan. He is a British-Egyptian pediatric neurologist and the founder of Gaza Medic Voices. He's worked and taught in Gaza for over the past 10 years. He joins us now live from London. Omar, it is a pleasure having you on the show. Because there is a communications blackout in Gaza right now, I'm assuming that you are not able to communicate with your colleagues there.
Thank you so much for having me with you. Absolutely. We have been speaking to our colleagues, our friends on the ground in Gaza since October 10th, when they first contacted us regarding the deteriorating and quickly deteriorating situation there. In the past 24 to 40 hours, I have had little to no contact with anyone on the ground there. The very few messages we have received have been frankly distressing. And I say this having been saying very similar things over the last 2 weeks, but the level of distress that I'm hearing in their voice is beyond what I have experienced or heard in the past few weeks. Nizar has just alluded to some of the rampant infections that are spreading, some of the food shortages and malnutrition cases that they are seeing as in children, in women, in men. And this is the direct effect of bombing, infrastructure, destroying a public health system, destroying a healthcare system, bringing it to its knees, damaging bakeries, bombing water sanitation plants, bombing bridges, roads. Every sector of society has been absolutely annihilated. And these pictures on the screen that I'm seeing of aid trucks throwing bottled water out, this is apocalyptic level scenes. This is something that we were watching on sci-fi movies. This is not something I expected or any of my colleagues expected to be seeing in 2023. And the issue for me is this is 100% man-made. This is not a natural virus by, Mother Nature with COVID. This is not an earthquake or a typhoon. This is direct result of a barbaric state and system and military that has resorted to tactics of terrorism, psychological and physical terrorism on a population of people that are being collectively punished for the very crime of being born in Gaza. These people woke up to be bombed for the simple crime that they live in an open air concentration camp and that they don't share the same genes as us. They don't have blonde hair and blue eyes like our Western colleagues, who looked at Ukraine and saw that. And the response has been shameful. The response from the international community has been absolutely shameful. Every leader who has abstained or voted against a ceasefire should be ashamed of themselves, and they have blood on their hands because they are complicit in the mass murder and the genocidal warfare that is happening inside Gaza. We are seeing 90% of Gazans unable to eat one meal a day. What that translates to is half of the population of Gaza are children under the age of 18. That means 900,000 children are unable to have a single meal a day. That means an infant, a baby, a toddler, a young person, pre-pubertal, is unable to be nutritioned to survive. And this is not even the current, this is not the most pressing issue. The most pressing issue is they are being bombed. They are being attacked on a daily basis in their hospitals, in their refugee camps, in their homes, in every location in Gaza. There is no abate and there is no respite for these people.
Omar, I want to sort of replay those pictures of the water being distributed. As journalists, we often sort of are able to sort of play out pictures where food necessities like flour and wheat are distributed. This is the first time I've actually seen water being distributed. We can go, as human beings, we can go several days, several weeks without food, but water is very important, and you rightfully so described the scenes as apocalyptic. I'm wondering what your thoughts are in terms of how much more complicated the situation, the humanitarian situation, is made when the enclave is experiencing a communications and information blackout because people who need to call ambulances can't call ambulances. People who need to get in touch with hospitals can't do that. It seems that we are on a very slippery slope when it comes to the dire humanitarian situation.
I think this is nothing new, unfortunately. We have been seeing this for weeks. Every time the Israeli occupation forces has decided to cut out communications or reduce communications to basically be able to work at large and commit atrocities in the dark, this has been a major problem, not only for the citizens and patients that are unable to get to hospital, but for the people that are suffering from heart attacks, from strokes, from diarrheal illnesses. These patients who would essentially be salvaged and can easily be treated. These are preventable deaths that are going to number in the hundreds of thousands unless the international community steps in immediately. We are talking of cases of hepatitis spreading like wildfire. We are talking about cases of cholera, essentially. It's difficult to confirm because there is no infectious disease infrastructure currently to do testing. There's no laboratories to go and check what viruses are there. But we know that. You can see that. And this is going to cause civil unrest on top of a population that is frankly under blockade and siege and under attack. What I wanted to mention about the water issue, we saw the bottled water being handed out. Unfortunately, the reality is, in 70 years of occupation by the Israeli occupation forces in the West Bank and in Gaza, there has been a continuous decision to restrict water to Palestinians. We have seen that in the settlements being built in the West Bank. We have seen them take areas, high water-rich areas. This is a water-deprived region of the world. And for them to occupy those areas and actually make use of that water has deprived Palestinians of the basic necessity of water. So what do they expect them now to do? Do they expect them to drink water from the sea? Because that is what we will be seeing. We will be seeing Gazans drinking seawater, which is actually fatal in that situation. When you are dehydrated to the point you are in extremis and you drink seawater, it can actually accelerate death, essentially physiologically. So, this is shocking. This is frankly something I never imagined, in my 10 years of going into Gaza, of traveling there, of knowing the people there, of seeing this level of barbarism directed towards them. And the most shocking thing, more shocking than the Israeli response, is the lack of response, the lack of humanity from our leaders, from the powers that be in the Western world, in the Arab world, in every section of society that could speak up and put a stop to this. The silence is deafening, and we are losing our humanity by the minute. We are becoming barbarians as a society, as a global society. We are watching people being exterminated live on our screens, and we don't even care. And that, to me, horrifies me.
Okay. Omar, thank you very much for that first-hand account, that moving account on the dire humanitarian situation. Dr. Omar Abdel-Mannan, thank you very much for joining us here on the NewsHour. I do appreciate it.